What's up, guys? I just got back from KubeCon 2025. Not just recently. It's been several months now. If you don't know what that is, it is a huge celebration of all things CNCF. That's the Cloud Native Computing Foundation. They're celebrating all of the successes and all of the improvements and community surrounding Kubernetes, containerization, cloud infrastructure, all of those projects that are all fall under that umbrella of the CNCF. So if you've never been to one of these things, let me give you a little bit of the vibe. All the booths are manned by their sales associates, community outreach managers. All the people that are hired to talk to people about technology. How do I get a job like that? These guys, their whole thing is they really want to scan your badge. So as you walk through, and so they're trying to flag you down, and they're throwing out all the buzzword sales pitch. Hey, come on, let me show you. We're an AI cloud native container first infrastructure as code as a service platform. We provide end-to-end policy aware, zero trust, shift left, GitOps enabled, multi-cloud edge ready observability built on Kubernetes for Kubernetes to manage Kubernetes. We abstract away complexity by adding a thin orchestration layer on top of your orchestration layers while unlocking developer velocity and reducing cognitive load. Now with built-in compliance. And look, I love Kubernetes, but I've heard enough Techno-babble to fill an etcd cluster. Today, I'm not going to sell you anything. This is not even really a tutorial. There'll be no corporate diagram, no whiteboard, no synergizing your multi-cloud edge fabric. In this video, I'm not going to sell you Kubernetes, but I am going to install Kubernetes. All right, in this video, we're going to be installing K3s and Rancher. So if you don't know, K3s and Rancher and Longhorn, and basically, if you hear any Kubernetes related products that has a cow or ranch or cowboy sounding name, it's probably part of the SUSE suite. So K3s is a lightweight, smaller distribution of Kubernetes, but don't worry, you're still going to learn all the fundamentals from using K3s. It's essentially all there. I was kind of nervous about that in the beginning, that I wasn't really learning Kubernetes by learning K3s at home, but K3s at home is not the Kubernetes at home version of Kubernetes. They are essentially the same in the ways that you would use it. All of your kubectl, all the principles and fundamentals you're going to learn here are going to be useful to you in a real Kubernetes cluster. It's just stripped down so that it's easier to run on a home lab. Really, traditional Kubernetes would be way overkill. And then on top of that K3s cluster, we're going to be installing Rancher, which we're going to use to visualize our cluster and to have a GUI to interact with it. Rancher turns our cluster into something that we can run via kubectl to something that we can actually manage and install things on easily. All right, let's get right into it. All right, so we're going to start by provisioning the VMs that are required for the cluster. We're going to need one control plane, and we're going to set up 4 worker nodes. Kind of starting at a pretty decent size because I really want to run all of my home lab on this cluster if possible. We can also scale in the future. So what I'll do is I'll start here, I'll monitor it, and then I'll change it as we go. But to start with, what we're going to do is we're going to use Ubuntu template that we created in a previous video. We're going to use that to create all of these nodes. So essentially, I'm going to do a full clone of that 5 times. Then I'm going to configure the Cloud Init tab on each VM specific for their job. The worker nodes will have a little more resources than that control plane will. But let's start with a control plane. So for the control plane, I'm going to be giving that 2 virtual CPUs. We're going to give it 8 gigs of RAM, and we're going to give it a 50 gig disk space. Once we set that, I'll go ahead and clone the worker nodes. So orbit 1, orbit 2, orbit 3, and orbit 4. For these, I'm going to give each of these 4 virtual CPUs. We'll start them at 8 gigs of RAM, but I'm planning to possibly upgrade this in the future. I'm going to kind of monitor it and see if I truly want to use my entire hardware that I have set up on this Homelab to be for this cluster, then I can increase this in the future. Still, I'm going to study it and, we'll decide then. So now that we've got all the VMs configured with their resources, we need to set up the network. Now, this is important because we want to use static IP addresses. We don't want these to change. I have isolated some static IPs on my network just for this purpose. I wanted to keep them sequential so it would be easy for me to identify at a glance. What I went with, orbit 1 is going to end in .11, orbit 2, .12, orbit 3, .13, orbit 4, .14. That way I know that the first 4 addresses after that tens digit is going to be my worker nodes. Now, unfortunately, 10 was already occupied by our DNS, by our Pi-hole unbound server. And so I went with 9. So the way our IP layout is going to work, 9 is going to be the control plane, 11, 12, 13, 14 are going to be our orbiters. Once we have all of our cloud init settings configured, I went ahead and set a complicated password for the user credentials for the local user. And then I finalized the cloud init settings and went ahead and booted all of the VMs. Believe it or not, when it comes to installing K3s, that was the hard part because really it's just one command that installs K3s. We're going to connect to our control plane machine. In my case, it's Polaris. It's this one simple command. It's a curl command that basically pulls in the installer and installs it all in one line. It could not be easier. Really, this brings up the control plane and it's really that simple. I can run a command to show that right now we have one node. It is the control plane node and it's in good status. And from here, we can join in all of our workers, those orbiters that we made earlier. So with K3s now installed on the control plane, we can retrieve the cluster join token. Essentially, this gives us a token that we can share with our worker nodes, and it will allow them to automatically join our control plane and become members of this cluster. So now, if I check the cluster, I can see that all the workers have been added and then they're in good status. Okay, so now we have K3s installed and we have worker nodes and they're all members of a cluster together. We need to begin installing things. So in order to do that, let's install an application called Helm. Helm is a package manager for Kubernetes. Much like K3s, it is a simple command. I'll have it in the Git repo and it will just install Helm. I can quickly verify that Helm is installed by running the version command. We see that we have a version, so Helm is installed. Next up, we want to install cert-manager. Cert-manager will handle our TLS needs within the cluster. I noticed something on this installation step. I wasn't able to create a namespace without using sudo, and I don't like that. I want to be able to do it as a non-root user. So by default, K3s restricts access to the Kubernetes config. The first thing I did was copy that config into my user's home directory, set it to the correct permissions, and then it would allow me to run kubectl commands and Helm commands without needing to use sudo. All right, so now I can confirm that the kubectl command works without the need of sudo. This is a quality of life improvement. Let's go back to that cert-manager installation. The first thing we want to do is we want to create a namespace for cert-manager. We're going to need a package called jetstack. So we're going to run this command here to add that repository to Helm so that we can install jetstack. After we've added that repository, we can go ahead and install cert-manager and jetstack. Once cert-manager is running, I need to install Rancher itself. Following similar steps as before, I add the Rancher Helm repository, and then we create a namespace called cattle system. This will be the namespace we're going to install Rancher into. And then we use this command to deploy Rancher with a single replica to that namespace we just created. So when Rancher installs, it gives you a temporary password. You're going to change it whenever you do your first login. So you should just be able to go to the address of your control node and then log in to Rancher. But wait, we've got a 404. What's happened? Before we can do that, we need to make a quick setup of DNS in our Pi-hole. So within Pi-hole, I go to settings, DNS, and then I set an entry here to point the IP of our control plane to the address of our Rancher installation. And once this is in place, everything immediately starts working. I can log in, I can set that new password, and then I have a fully accessible working Rancher.
All right, now we've got a working K3s cluster with a control plane and worker nodes. And on top of that, we've installed Rancher, which we're going to use to manage it. This is all foundational for what we're going to be doing in the following videos. So, hey, if you're following along, down in the description, I put a link to my repository where I have all the commands and everything ran in this video. Please give this a like and subscribe. I hope that I'll see you in the next video where we're going to be covering some kubectl commands, some usefulness that we can find in Rancher, and then we're also going to be installing Metal LB and setting the environment up for installing services. Hopefully the next video will actually end on installing our first service. So I'll see you there, and thanks for watching.
Not only did I get Tailscale socks, but I got Ubuntu socks.